I am taking you to work with me today, but we're not going anywhere. I'm working from home. It is almost 8:30 and I've had an eventful morning. I can't even lie to you guys. I haven't even started work yet, but I was abruptly woken up out of my sleep at 5 a.m. to the sound of the fire alarm in my bedroom and in the entire building going off. Very loud and unbearable to my ears. And this has happened before. I think the last time it happened, I was just like chilling in bed watching TV or something, but this time I was asleep. So to like wake up to that, I don't know if anyone else has experienced like waking up into like an anxiety attack or with anxiety, but it was that same like feeling. And I was like rushing to put on clothes. It was cold outside. It was going off for about 20 minutes and then the firefighters came, and it ended up not being a fire just like last time. But that really like, I was sleeping good. And so once I got back up, it was like almost 6 o'clock. And I was like, well, I'm gonna lay back down because it was still dark outside too. So I laid back down and I ended up having a dream about having a child. I had a baby, but I wasn't pregnant, but I went into labor. It was weird. So obviously I was pregnant, but it's just like, I didn't go through the motions of being pregnant for 9 months. It was just like, I went to the doctor and they were like, you're gonna have a baby. And they just pulled it out of me. And what was odd is like, it didn't even look like a newborn. It looked like the baby was like 5 or 6 months. Like this baby was big. This baby could talk, like actual words, like have a regular conversation like you do between an adult. And so it was odd. I don't know, my morning just feels very weird, but I have my tea that is steeping. Normally I do eat breakfast first thing in the morning, and if it feels right for my body to do that, I will, but I think I'm gonna have breakfast after my 9:30 meeting, and I'm just gonna have some tea to start my morning. I'm bringing you guys to work with me, and I really wanna kind of take you through my day, but also I wanna talk about how I make the most of working this corporate job and working a 9 to 5, and just taking advantage of this opportunity as best as I can, because I know in this, like the newer generations are seeking opportunities of entrepreneurship, whether it's with a product, a service, social media presence, and their brand. And I think that's amazing. I know people that also are working a corporate job to help fund their dreams and fund the life that they really want to live and what they want to do for a living. And so I just wanted to like keep it real with what my day looks like working in corporate America and how I make the most of like things that I can. I want to try to log in like in the next 30 minutes or so. I'm not rushing, but I do have a 9:30 meeting, and I want to be able to like check my emails and just prep for that really quick. It's more of a discussion, but I want to at least kind of have it prepped in my mind, the talking points that I want to cover. So yeah. I've been doing lately is not rushing in the morning. Whether I'm going into the office or just working from home, I would wake up and like rush to get myself together so that I can immediately log in and start doing work or immediately commute to the office. And I will say this is like a luxury, and I don't know if everyone's experience is like this. Back when I was an hourly employee, you know, obviously you have to track your time, you have to clock in, you have to clock out. But now I think because I'm salaried and I'm gonna make the same amount no matter what, I don't have to clock in or clock out. I'm not on the clock. In the beginning, when I started working, no one was telling me when to show up, when to log in, when to log out. Like, I really didn't know. And so in my mind, based off of what I've been like conditioned to think, is this is a 9 to 5. So I need to log in at 9 and I need to stay logged in until 5 o'clock. Or, you know, I need to be at the office by 9 and I'm not leaving until 5. But I realized that in this new environment, especially since the pandemic, things are a lot different now. Things are a lot more flexible as well. And I'm realizing that I don't need to rush in the morning. What am I rushing for? I'm not rushing to clock in anymore. So what's the point of me getting up and starting my day with the idea that, oh my gosh, I need to log in by this time. I need to be at the office by this time, because I'm waking up and haven't even poured into myself yet. Now, obviously, if I have a meeting or I have a deliverable that I need to get done by a certain time, like, of course, that's gonna drive the time that I want to be logged in, and I'm still very responsible about it. Now, when I first wake up in the morning, I don't really even think about work that much. I start my day with, like I said, exercising. I'll do some yoga, meditation. I'll journal, I'll read. I've learned that whether I log in right at 9 or I end up logging in at 9:15 or 9:30 or 10, no one's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're working in a very high stress environment where people's lives are on the line, I'm just learning not to really stress out about work. I feel so much better and I feel like I'm so much more productive when I do log into work and I have a way better attitude. I understand that everyone's circumstances are different, but I make the most of my mornings by pouring into me first with this cup of tea. So I just logged in and I don't know how the lighting looks given that my window, the light is coming from this direction, but my desk faces this direction. But I have a ton of emails to go through this morning, and that is why I think it's so important to, when you're gonna log off. Don't be trying to check emails on your phone. Don't be trying to check Teams and all of that type of stuff. Like, once you log out, let that be for the next day. And that's why in the morning, sometimes I will be tempted to check my email on my phone, but I have to remind myself, like, this is time for me. Once I log in, then I can use that time for work. But while I'm not logged in, that is time for myself. Something I wanted to bring up that has been very helpful for me in terms of just like managing my schedule and making the most out of my days is blocking time off on my calendar for certain things. And I'm sure people can relate to having a difficult time getting things done because you're just in back-to-back meetings, or, you know, there's several meetings and you don't really have enough time to like focus on getting a project done or whatever the deliverable is. I now block time off. Great. This is lovely. I love this. Okay. So what I was saying before my fire alarm decided to go off again, I really hope it doesn't do that while I'm in a meeting. I really hope it doesn't do that. But anyway, what I was saying, I realized the lighting is not the best. But anyway, what I was saying is I like to block time off on my calendar. So when people go to schedule a meeting on my calendar, it's gonna show them my availability. It won't say the specifics of what particular meetings or things I have, but it's gonna block it off in a way that shows them I'm busy during that time. And so I really like to utilize blocking time off on my calendar. Sometimes I will do one of two things. I'll block time off for working sessions, is what I call them. Say I have a deliverable that I need to complete. I'll block off anywhere from 1 to 3 hours on my calendar, whether it's all at once or throughout the day. And that is me dedicating that time specifically to that task. And other times I'll use it for personal reasons, whether it's I need to go drop my car off to get maintenance, or I need to pick something up. you know, whatever personal things I need to do. Sometimes I'll block my calendar off for that as well. But doing it for the working sessions is really helpful because one, it kind of gets me in the zone to like focus on that one thing. And I find that if I dedicate time and it's on my calendar that this is what I'm gonna do during this time, and sometimes I'll go on do not disturb so people don't bother me, or at least I don't see that they're bothering me, so that I can focus on what I need to get done in that moment. Okay, so I finally had my 9:30 meeting. Luckily, it actually didn't even go the full 30 minutes that it was supposed to be, which is nice. I mean, 30-minute meetings are not bad as it is compared to like an hour-long meeting. But it's always nice when you can get some time back, right? So with that extra time that I got back to myself, I went ahead and went through my emails, sent some findings that I had on some research that I needed to do. And now it is about 10:30 almost, and I am ready to eat breakfast now. I'm going to make oatmeal. Oatmeal is just that girl. Like, that is my favorite go-to breakfast because it's like oatmeal is already that girl, but then I add stuff to it. Like, I love to add, so I'll just break it down for you guys. I use regular natural rolled oats, and then I add cinnamon, which is good for your metabolism, hemp seeds, which is a source of like vegan-based protein, cacao nibs, and then I warm that up with almond milk, and then afterwards, once it's warmed up, I like to add fresh bananas, or sometimes I'll do strawberries, but bananas are my favorite. It's a good source of potassium and fiber. And then I add peanut butter, which is a good source of protein. So all of that together is just like, that is it. I got all the goods. Bananas will look like they're going bad, and then you cut it open and it's like the perfect banana. But just to kind of give you guys some context, this is like a late breakfast, early lunch. But anyway, so I work in the finance industry. I majored in finance, and I'm more on like the regulatory side of finance. So there is that analytical research aspect to it, which I do enjoy. But then there is the reading a ton of things and trying to interpret it because they're explained in very complex ways. So yeah, my work is project based for the most part. I'm curious if you're watching this, if you do work in corporate America, or even if you don't, like, what is your job? What do you like about it? What is the style of your job? Is it project based? Is it more ad hoc? Is it the same thing every day? Like, I'm always curious what people's jobs are and how they're able to make a living and how they feel about it. Because although I'm not in love with my job, although I'm not passionate about it, I couldn't imagine absolutely hating it and also putting all of my energy into it. And I think I'm able to have a better relationship with work now because I do take that time to pour into myself. I do take that time to step away from the computer when I need to, or to set boundaries when I need to. My position is considered hybrid, but I don't come in 3-4 times a week. They'll be lucky if they see me once a week or every other week. Like, I'm not gonna over exert myself. So yeah, I think I've just kind of found that balance of like not over exerting myself, not doing too much. Not that every day is just like a walk in the park, but my attitude about things have shifted. And that's the crazy part. Like, not much around me is any different than it would have been, but it's like my attitude around it is different. My approach to things are just different now. And yeah, I just love oatmeal so much. Like, I feel like it sounds so silly, but it's just like, if someone were to ask me like, what could you eat for breakfast for the rest of your life, it would be oatmeal. Today is like my Friday because today's Thursday, but I took off for tomorrow. So today is like my Friday. And today is actually not too hectic. Next week is gonna be hectic, so I'm gonna be like coming back to a lot. But today I had the one meeting at 9:30 that didn't even go the full 30 minutes. And then I have another meeting later today. I think it's at like 2 or 3, somewhere around there. I'll have to check my calendar again. But right now it's almost 11. So I have like at least a good 3 hours at least to kind of, I don't want to say it, but to kind of like bullshit. I've completed a lot of the tasks that I need to complete, and a lot of the meetings I have to kind of move forward with those are not until next week. So anything that I do right now is kind of just me doing it because I want to do it. Like I said, like I really don't stress myself out about work, especially because the reality is there are days where in the past, not so much recently, but in the past there were days where I would be working 10 to 12 hours. And the thing is, I would make up for that on different days. So yeah, I may have worked 10 or 12 hours for 3 days straight, but best believe Friday or best believe next week, I'm chilling. I'm taking it easy, okay? So I am taking it easy because I already know next week is gonna be crazy and time consuming for me. And today is like my Friday, so I'm really big chilling. So I had my like late breakfast, early lunch situation. It's now 11:15. So what I'm gonna do just to be, useful of my time is I am going to just prepare for next week. So I am taking a little break now. It is 12:15, and I don't have another meeting until 2:30, so I'm about to just chill for a little bit. I wanted to just talk about I'm talking about the ways that I'm making the most of this experience and working in corporate America, but I want to make it clear that my experience hasn't been all glitter and gold, and it's so crazy because I remember being in college and I'm still kind of coming out of just the brainwashing that I grew up thinking and being taught in terms of go to college and get this degree and work your way up in corporate America. And I'm starting to realize that's what I found value in myself based off of that being my reality. And now that I'm in this space, I realize that it is not all that it's cracked up to be. Being a woman, the microaggressions that you face, I've had some very just inappropriate conversations happen that I was not okay with, but because I am in a lot of settings where I'm either the only woman, and if I'm not the only woman, I'm the only Black woman. If I'm not the only Black woman, then I'm just the only person of color or woman of color in general. I'm still coming into spaces where I am the minority, and certain conversations are had, and it's hard to speak up about how you feel when you are the minority. So everyone else is on the same page and you're the only one that doesn't necessarily fit in. Not to say that changes aren't being made and strides aren't being taken, but it's just it's not what I imagined my work environment to be like. And so that's why it was important for me to approach things in a way that works for me. So yeah, I am gonna work from home and work remote as much as I possibly can. I'm not going to go to every work event that's after hours. I'm not like, I don't care to climb the corporate ladder. And I don't know if anyone else feels this way. Like, I personally just want to be able to have a source or sources of income to fund the life that I want to live. And that life is a life of freedom, a life of peace, and a good balance of contentment, but also striving to be a better version of myself through different experiences. This isn't my dream career that I'm going to be working for the rest of my life. And so that's why I have a more positive attitude about it, because this is the time for me to stack my bread and, you know, build up certain skill sets so that I can transfer those into new opportunities for myself and get a bigger bag. And it's not even about like I'm money hungry, but like I said, like I want to be able to like support the life that I want to live. And that leads me to my other thing of how I make the most of working in this corporate space, girl. And that is utilizing my benefits. Like, I know so many people will say like, oh, I haven't taken a vacation in a year, or I haven't taken PTO since I started. Like, why are you doing that to yourself? I'm gonna use that PTO. I'm gonna go on that vacation. And I used to feel guilty because I felt like, because I'm so young in my career, I would think I don't have the right to take time off. I haven't made a name for myself in this space to be trying to already take time off and do vacations and all this, but why would I be given PTO if I'm not allowed to use it? And I'm gonna use it, okay? I'm using every single bit of it. I'm not leaving no crumbs. Like, for real, I'm not leaving no crumbs. I'm gonna take those vacations. Some days I just take PTO because I need a day. I need a day. And so if you work in a corporate environment where you have benefits, whether it's PTO, whether it's mental health days that you get to take, you know, even like your health insurance, making sure that you are good, take advantage of that. The company is not gonna burn down just because you decide to take a weekend off or take a week or two. Like, do what is best for you. Put yourself first, because when you put yourself first, then you can show up better in spaces like your work environment, with your friends, with your family. So currently it is almost 1 o'clock and I am actually importing the footage for this video that you guys are watching right now. So, you know, like I said, like I make the most of my time, and I know that realistically in my corporate job, I am productive for about a good 4 or 5 hours. And if I have nothing else to do after that, I can put energy into my own personal creative things that I want to do. And I actually really enjoy editing. Like, editing is actually pretty fun. It can be time consuming, but it is a lot of fun, especially when I learn about new features. I use InShot, and then I also was told about CapCut. So I'm gonna probably like introduce myself to that the next time I do a video. But I've really gotten comfortable with InShot, and I still like see what different effects look like, sound effects, other things like that. I think it's just really cool and it's a lot of fun. There are days where I may hustle and grind on a specific deliverable or a specific project for a good 3-4 hours, and then the rest of the day I'm chilling. So that's when I use that time to do the things that are helping my personal development outside of just like work stuff. And that's something that I feel like is a good way if you're someone who maybe is working a corporate job or working a 9-to-5, but you have other goals and aspirations. And a lot of times it can be difficult to have worked a 8 to 10 hour day and then try to have time to do what you want to do, to improve yourself. So I just like to get things done. Like, I am someone who works efficiently. I'm someone that's gonna get it done. You tell me a deadline, I'm gonna get it done before the deadline, just so that I can have that time to myself to breathe and to focus on what is really and genuinely important to me. So after spending a few hours working on some things, I decided I needed a fresh fresh breath of air, some fresh air. So I am going to just take a walk around my neighborhood. Walkie walk around the neighborhood. It's such a gorgeous day. Like, it's not hot, but it's not cold right now at this time of day. And I went out wearing this hoodie, and this is a black hoodie. I mean, as you can see, obviously. And so I was very comfortable. I enjoyed my walk. I'm gonna just sit in this meeting. I don't really have too much input for this meeting, so probably won't be talking that much. But once the meeting's over, I'll probably start editing this video, and then I do want to work out. Like, I want to do a workout probably just here at home. I worked out yesterday and the day before that, and I did some like weight training exercises with my dumbbells. So I think like my legs are sore and my back is sore. So today I want to just kind of take it easy, and I'm probably gonna do some yoga or like some flexibility and mobility stretches. Just got out of my meeting, and I feel weird with the camera like this close, but I just got out of my meeting, and I did get just some like ad hoc requests to take care of that shouldn't take too long. And honestly, I'm not mad about it because it's the part of my job that I do like, and it's more of like creative. And that's the cool thing about working in different spaces, is you can find the things that you actually enjoy and make the most of those opportunities, so that when you want to pivot into a new career or new path or whatever, you can like yes, I work in finance, but I've also done some creative projects like creating newsletters and building out templates and designing certain like features, and just more like creative fun things that remind me that I do have those sorts of skill sets and that creativity, and that I'm not just like this technical analytical person, and just kind of using both sides of my brain, if that makes sense. And so this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy, is the creative aspect. I do love the analytical part, but I do like when I'm able to venture into other projects, so that later down the line, when I want to do some of my own things, or maybe I work for another company where I can demonstrate my creative skill sets, I can, use what I am learning now. If you work in a company and maybe you're in a field that you aren't necessarily passionate about or love, I'm sure there's still something in there where you can kind of like find something, whether it's like an organization within your company, whether it's like a club or whatever it is, like you can help out with that, even if it's not necessarily like your day-to-day job. Something that you can do while you're on the clock to kind of brush up on skills that you want to be able to transfer into a new path, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's basically what I do to make the most of my experience working in corporate America. Y'all know how it is. If you're a woman working in corporate, then you get it. If you're a minority in general, like I don't even want to obviously I can only speak about my experience as a woman, as a Black woman, as a queer woman, and just kind of what that comes with and how that can be uncomfortable. But I'm sure other marginalized groups of people can relate to it as well. There's just a lot of biases and just ignorance for lack of better words. And so I'm definitely learning a lot. I'm learning that this space is not all that it is hyped up to be, and that at the end of the day, you kind of have to make the most of whatever opportunities come your way and see it as a door to something greater. Despite some of like the hardships and challenges that I faced in this space, I just know that like this is a part of my testimony. This is a part of my story, and I'm gonna be able to look back, because I've looked back and reflected back on where I've been and where I am now, and I'm like, wow, like I would have never thought. Just know that you are not alone in this. If you have goals, hopes, and dreams for yourself, you can reach those goals, dreams, that success, whatever you want for yourself. But just make sure whatever you do it for yourself. Do things with your best interest in mind so that you can elevate and take yourself to the next level and cultivate the life that you want for yourself, not what you were taught. And also just have that level of autonomy and independence. You don't need anyone else's validation. You just need to believe in yourself.